Warm greetings, dear viewers. Welcome back to Family Matters, and I'm your host, Pete Mwanza. Family Matters brings together a group of like-minded individuals who come from different backgrounds. They have different professions, they have different hobbies, and they've got different interests. But one interest binds them together like a glue, and that is all things family. I have in the studio with me 4 distinguished guests who are going to help me discuss today's topic. But before we do that, I would like my guests to introduce themselves, starting with the guest on my immediate left.
Thank you. Solomon Serunjogi, a research scientist, and I'm very happy to be here because I'm a family man with 4 wonderful children and a wife, and I'm learning continuously. So I'm here to share and learn.
Welcome, Solomon.
Thank you. I'm Walter Moindi, and in profession, I am a public health officer. I'm married. I have 1 adult, and this is part of also my passion to be here today.
Welcome, Walter.
Thank you.
And I am Leonard Chirenje. I am a teacher by profession, and I'm married to 1 wife, and I'm blessed with 2 kids. I believe in growing and learning, especially when it comes to family matters.
Welcome, Leonard. Good to have you again.
Thank you.
My name is Dawn Sharp, and I'm a teacher by profession. My passion is outreach. I love children, and so I have 3 beautiful children, 1 boy and 2 girls. Thank you.
Welcome, Dawn. Family Matters is with you and is here to stay. On this platform, on this program, dear friends, we'll be discussing all things family. Some of the topics that are on the horizon include addictions, drug addictions, porn addictions, how these impact the family. Some of them include finances. How do finances affect family dynamics? And many more. So stay tuned, dear friends, and please feel free to like, share, and subscribe, and leave any comments. Maybe you have a topic that you'd like us to discuss. We're very open to it. Or maybe you have any some questions that you'd like to drop to us. For sure, we will address those questions as much as we possibly can. Today's topic, though, the real issue with personal hygiene. What is personal hygiene? How does personal hygiene affect a family, affect a couple, affect a marriage? These are some of the topics these are some of the issues that we're going to delve in today's program. I'll start with the lily among the thorns. Dawn, what is personal hygiene? How do you define personal hygiene?
Personal hygiene, I believe, is taking care of one's body. Hygiene means cleanliness. So whatever it takes, whether a bath, cleansing yourself from negative emotions, spiritual emotion, whatever it takes, your clothes, presentation of your clothes, the whole aspect of presenting yourself, I believe it is personal hygiene.
Thank you very much. Leonard, can you add a little bit more on what Dawn has said, with some very succinct examples?
Yes, personal hygiene covers a bit of health, the body. You know, our bodies are created in such a way, we are matter. And matter, unfortunately, has an expiry date. And if you do not take care of the matter that is you are going to smell. So that means
Correct.
we need to shower.
Correct.
You are going to protrude odor in your mouth. You need to clean the mouth. You need to dress well. It's part of personal hygiene. You need to take care of whatever we use. The kitchen utensils that we use to eat, they need to be clean so that we protect our health. The clothes that we wear, we must ensure that when we remove them, for instance, we don't throw them everywhere. So personal hygiene is important to a family, that how I treat my own personal body and the things that I use is an example also even to my kids. So it's very important for us to talk about personal hygiene.
Excellent, excellent. Walter, welcome. How important is personal hygiene with reference to a marriage?
Personal hygiene, as they have indicated, it's very important because it affects you, or it can affect the partner. And also they have also indicated earlier that personal hygiene also creates an environment where you have to take care of yourself. But also we can add also the environment where you live. So it can be personal hygiene because, for example, you are going in a bed that is not in a smelly place, that may be surrounded with an environment that is not so good. Also it affects the person or your partner. So in this case, personal hygiene can affect the partner that you are in because, for example, your partner doesn't like a smell.
Correct.
So that one also, it can play a part to not to make him comfortable. Also, if you don't wash yourself or you don't clean yourself properly, so it also can affect the partner.
Thank you very much. So I just picking, I know we just started, but I'm picking up to say, personal hygiene is actually a big deal because, as you mentioned, right, your husband and wife, and one of the partners is smelling and the other one really doesn't like bad odors. That can actually start to affect intimacy. Right, Solomon?
That's true. And we can back ourselves up with a few, statistics. There's word out there. The American Institute of Psychology and these other big institutions, they're telling us that actually most of our spouses, 50% of them are living with partners that have issues with personal hygiene. And remember, this is a crossing thing. It comes from this way to the other. Then the other bit of statistics says that 70% of these relationships are more likely to arise in some kind of conflict simply because of personal hygiene.
Very interesting. Conflict arising from hygiene issues.
Exactly.
So this is actually a big deal, and I guess some marriages have broken because of personal hygiene. Now, Sister Dawn, how does personal hygiene affect the emotional aspect, that emotional connection between a husband and a wife? And I would like Leonard to actually, after yourself, to address that same connection between a parent and the child. All right?
Okay. In regards to the emotional side, sometimes men or women like to hug or whatever. Now, if that person is not taking care of their personal hygiene, what eventually will happen, it will be a turn off. You see love start to diminish. Not really love, but the connection, the hugs and the touching and all these things start to diminish. And sooner or later, there'll be no connection, whether even it be communication, whether it be physical contact or whatever, because they are always anticipating the first impression that they had before. Okay, this person will be smelly, this person will be this, And also, I see sometimes you have men, their hair is having a lot of hair on them. They don't pay attention to trim. The nose has a lot of hair growing out. They fail to groom themselves with cutting their hair. The beard, the eyebrows start growing like wild bushes, and and it's as if it's nothing. And while the woman, she likes her parents' good makeup and pleasant perfumes, the man may think it's okay to have this sweat and all these things. She's embarrassed in front of her friend. So it has some serious implication.
I'm laughing, but what you're saying is really, really, there was a young gentleman, recently married.
Yes.
And he was complaining, saying, the wife doesn't like to kiss.
Yes.
And he likes to kiss.
Yes.
And he couldn't understand, and this created a conflict.
Yes.
This created a conflict in the marriage. Serious conflict,
yes.
Where external parties were actually called in to help. You know what was the root cause?
Breath.
Bad breath.
Bad breath. Yes.
Used to smell.
Yeah.
So what you're saying is actually true, that, lack of personal hygiene
yes.
could lead to loss
Interest.
of intimacy.
Yes.
Leonard.
I want to touch on the children.
Yes,
You see, children learn from what they see more than what we say.
correct.
So if I as a parent have hair everywhere, like I have dreadlocks in my armpits, and the kids see that, you become a living example of how things should be done.
Yeah.
I don't brush my teeth, if
Yes.
I'm not well groomed, and my hair is everywhere. So my concern is that as parents especially, we should be good examples to our kids. As our kids notice that we are well groomed, well dressed, we take care of our property, like our clothes, we don't leave it everywhere. After I eat my food, I don't leave my plate, because that's part of personal hygiene. I take the plate, I clean it. My child learns from my cleanliness how to groom
Correct.
themselves. I don't need to tell them you should be clean. They copy exactly what I do.
Actually, you've brought me to a very important aspect. You're actually talking about visible and felt leadership. As a father, as a mother, as you've given the example, you've eaten on your plate, you go and you actually clean. That is, you haven't said anything, but the children are actually watching. That's visible and felt leadership. Thank you very much for actually bringing in this part. Now, Walter, I would like you to talk about personal or lack of personal hygiene, how a lack of personal hygiene could actually impact the relationship within a family. I know Don has talked a little bit about, the loss of intimacy. Okay, maybe intimacy is lost, but they can still live. But what are some of the big implications of poor personal hygiene in the dynamics of a family relation?
Thank you. That's a very good question, because let's say, for example, somebody went to use a bathroom, and she came back, or he came back, and he didn't wash the hands. So that means maybe he's back to the kitchen, and maybe he has come contact with food. That also can bring a big effect to the family, that one of them can be sick. So it can affect the health of the family, because if you don't wash your hands properly, and that one will make maybe the family to be sick. So the other way that it can affect the family is by making the family not to come closer to you. Like, for example, the kids, they will run that my dad has come back, and you remove your shoes. Maybe you want to come inside the house, and once they smell the shoes of the father, they are smelly around the house. So this will deter the kids not to come closer to the father. So this is another challenge that will, it's a breakdown.
Yeah.
Between...
So you're talking about, it can lead to actual health issues.
Yes.
Which is, it is a serious matter. I'd like Solomon to talk about something really, really important here. Personal hygiene, or a lack of personal hygiene. How does a child deal with unhygienic parents? Now, this is a child, right? How does a child deal with unhygienic parents?
Actually, contrary to what we think, it's not easy for children to have the leeway or the dominance to override rules in the house. Even when you come from the most toxic and hygienic family. That is a family secret. Thou shalt not say anything. And because of that, children are suffocated. And they suffer from this. I'll give you an example. Statistically, it's said that children are more likely to drop out of school if they're perceived as being unhygienic. And they have nothing to do with that. So they'll start taking evasive routes to school, delaying tactics, because their parents at home are unable to prepare them to look in the same appearance as their peers. And this causes a problem. So children would rather avoid rather than confront the situation. They would rather drop out of school than to confront the parents about these things. It's very sad that our own children have actually, because children, they learn from us. What you do, they don't know what is right and wrong. They think whatever you do is the right thing. So if you're not taking good care of your shoes, taking good care of the dishes piling up, and another thing is that their health is going to go down. And inadvertently, that will also affect their performance in school. So children have become victims of our own choices. And we have a choice to either be hygienic. I'll give you an example. When growing up, generally speaking, in primary health care, they taught us that a pit latrine should be at least 30 meters from the house. That is not the case anymore. Pit latrine, the latrine is just behind, we have 3 or 4 of them congested around the sitting room, and you leave all these doors open and things are coming in. Children get affected. They grow up with these viruses. They grow up with these sicknesses, and we have no idea where they're coming from. And because of that, it affects their school performance, it affects their mood, and so on and so forth.
I think you've actually gone a little bit deep to actually look at, it's not just a simple thing. There are other aspects that are being affected. I'd like Leonard to look at the basic principles of personal hygiene. So someone who lacks it, what are the basic principles that we can all follow? But before Leonard addresses this question, Don, I would like you to address one aspect. If I have a spouse who does not clean up after themselves at all, what should I do? I know it's not easy, but let's hear from you, then we'll go to Leonard.
Okay. There are points that I wanted to convey, a few scenarios before. First of all, men are very keen on appearance, Maybe women not aware, and sometimes they hide stray. I remember a friend I had introduced a partner. Sometime there was this, and he took her to the beach, and she was in this bath suit, She didn't shave well. So he was saying, oh, this is a Rasta I took to the, Rasta is the hair was. So ladies have to pay attention to these proper shaving. And I knew someone else, this lady was overweight. They were not together anymore. So I was asking what happened. He said she was overweight, but when she goes to the toilet, she doesn't wipe properly during urine. So during intimacy, the urine smell was so pungent. He was not able to manage it, and he spoke so many times about that. So we have to pay attention, especially overweight size, drying yourself properly when you have your bath, under the crevices. These things are so important. You just don't have your bath and just get out of the bathroom. Drying is important, especially you have under the breast, different clavicles. You have to pay attention to dry these creases properly.
Very profound.
Yes, it is so important, because these dark places, they attract odors. Yeah. And we have to be realistic. Yes, men like this big shape Coca-Cola and these things, but there are other added things that goes to it that cause them to be turned off as well.
I think you've mentioned a very important point, but though you have not addressed my question.
Yes,
how to deal with a spouse who would not clean up?
Okay, first of all, you have to have a conversation with the person. When you're going into the relationship, you have an expectation, and then you start observing. When you model, most of the time, the persons follow. So if a man is clean and the wife loves her husband, she will follow suit, and vice versa.
So modeling is one, but I've heard of cases where the one spouse is very clean and doing everything, but the other spouse is still, as Leonard said, leaving things everywhere, So how?
Well, the thing
is tricky, right? So how do you address it without offending?
I think you can have an intervention, because sometimes some people take drastic measure like giving ultimatum. If you don't do this, this would happen, this would happen, and there's a consequence. So in that case, I believe intervention is important. If you love that person and you want to go forward, because if you take it, the person being so repeating the same thing over and over, it's going to create anger.
Cool. So, Leonard, I'd like you to, before you go to the other question, I'd like you to add on to what Don is, because I'm finding a bit difficulty here in understanding, I have tried everything. I have tried to lead by example, but my partner would not just clean up. Now, Don mentioned some aspects of ultimatum. Now, I'm not sure. So
we will be diving now into conflict management, because that's now conflict. I think the best answer for the question is, what are the basics of personal hygiene? First of all, it even starts with what you eat. If you are drinking alcohol and you are smoking, you are automatically going to smell. You are going to protrude a certain odor, and you have to be careful then how you handle yourself for the other people who are in your environs to relate to you. So that's the first thing, what you eat, what you take in. The second thing is how you groom yourself. We have got different bodies, especially us who are from African origin. Our hair is not straight, it's curly. We have to groom it in a certain way, unless you are a Rastafarian. And wherever you have hair, there are parts of the body which have got hair. Where we allow hair to be groomed and kept is only your head. The chin, the private parts, the armpits, we need to groom ourselves and remove the hair. I know some people love their hair, but it is associated with smell. Science has shown that once you keep long hair, you are also keeping bacteria which brings out odor. So we have to groom ourselves. So 1, watch what you eat. 2, watch how you groom yourself. 3, another thing that we must learn, you must exercise. We don't want, bodies which are heavier are more likely to protrude more odor. 1. They are also more likely to give you other issues like sweating a lot. It's associated with the weight. So if you want to make sure that you do not have any problems with personal hygiene, these factors, make sure you exercise, make sure you watch what you eat, and also make sure you drink a lot of water.
Excellent.
So you see, it's linked with health. Hygiene is directly connected with health. So those are the basic things that a person can do to ensure that they themselves are acceptable to their partners.
We're just about to go on a short break, but Solomon, I'll give you just 30 seconds.
Oh yeah, 30 seconds. I really like what Elder brought up, and Don as well. The problem here is that there are many ways of communicating. If you stick a message on that wall in front of your toilet, someone reads it, it will go straight into their mind. Say, flush it after use. That is more likely to, because some people have amnesia. They'll just forget, and they forget because of priorities. They don't think it's important to do that. But once they read it, and also another thing is that once people realize that their behavior in community...
So Solomon, are you saying, so you've just been married with your wife and you put that message? Is that what you're saying?
No. Generally, you don't have to point fingers, but you see we're going to have some rules in the house, in the kitchen, in the sitting room, just for us to, not only for, we have visitors coming in, but this is our standard.
Okay, I'll come back. I'll stop you here. After the break, we'll come back and address this. Now, I've just received, through our technical team, we have a few questions from our viewers. So when we come back, we'll be addressing those few questions. We'll see you in a bit. Thank you very much.
Hello everyone, I'm happy to see you again. Today's special message is about personal hygiene. Taking care of your personal hygiene is a powerful act of self-love. It boosts your confidence, enhances your health, and shows respect for yourself and for those around you. Embrace the small daily habits and watch how they transform, not just for your well-being, but for your outlook on life. You deserve to feel your best, my dear. See you next time. Bye.
Welcome back to Family Matters. where we're discussing all things family. The real issue of personal hygiene is our subject matter today. And in this segment, we'll be addressing some of the questions we've received from our viewers. I'll start with yourself, Solomon. So there's a question here. I'm going to read it as it came in. My husband doesn't bath for days and lacks basic hygiene. On saying that, he gets offended. How do I deal with him?
Well, we can use statistics to be on our side, and it is more likely for someone to behave this way if they have some psychological issues, actually. It is the case that if someone is in a state of either mild or excessive depression, they're less likely to actually take good care of themselves. So addressing the state of mind of this individual, understanding the status quo, is very, very important, because based on that, we can then work out modalities that health interventions or psychological help, so that maybe these things can motivate him. Activities that could distract him or motivate him to go to the bath, for example, exercise. We know that it's very uncomfortable for most of us to go straight to bed or to remain in our situation once we're done with exercise.
No, some do that.
Some do that.
Some who exercise and come chill a little bit and go to bed. Some do that.
Yeah, that's very challenging. But that's very challenging. But in general, I think we have to understand whether this started immediately or it is something that has just degenerated as the relationship went in. Because based on that, you can understand whether you need external help.
So Solomon, the viewer is waiting for an answer. So we sort of need to provide an answer. I'm not getting that answer. I know it's a little bit, but the viewer is waiting for an answer. So this viewer is saying, listen, my husband is a good man, or my wife is a good man. I will not say their gender here. But, when I bring up the hygiene issue, they get upset. So how do I deal with it? Walter?
That's a very good question. So I think we need to find the root cause why this partner is not taking a proper bath. Maybe it's a lack of water.
The water is there. I believe the water is there.
All right. Or maybe there may be a problem that if it's very cold, he's afraid to take the cold water. So what we need to find is the root cause of the problem. So if he need assistance, or to be assisted in taking part, that can be done. Secondly,
actually, you've mentioned something interesting here. It just caught my attention. Assistant. Would you agree with me, guys? I'm just picking up on what Walter has said. Sometimes, if this is a man, right, and the woman say, hey, let's go and take a shower together, and I'll give you some activities.
Yes.
Okay, in the shower. Probably this could help. So that's a good one.
That would be a motivation for him to take a part or do some personal grooming.
But hopefully not every time.
Not every time. So I think now he need to find the reason why he's not doing that.
Okay.
So the best thing is to give him a motivation. Maybe to find, he has come out, maybe very late, he has to find the water, because there are people who take an excuse that it's very late and you have to find it. So he has to find that the things are already in order for him to take a bath. So I think, and the other reason is that we need to find out if the person is willing, to be, as we have said, to be assisted. So if he is willing to be assisted, and then the partner can go ahead and assist him. So if it's in terms of the bath, it's different. But if in terms of the clothing, so it's how many times does he wear the cloth? Does he take the whole week to get the same cloth? It's a problem. So this is where the partner comes in and tells him that if you wear like the underwear for 2-3 days, there is a problem there. So he has to find that his clothes for the whole week have been packed, that this is the clothes that you will wear this instead of you.
So who's doing that? The partner?
The partner. He can assist.
So that's an example in terms of preparing a full set of clothes for the whole week, and reminding to say, this is so. Yeah, this is an intelligent way to do, and it shows love, right? So I prepare a full set of clothes, one set for each day with underwear, so he needs probably 7 underwears, right, to suit this. And you remind them to say, oh darling, hi. So this is an interesting one. Leonard, anything to add on this? So we're trying to answer this question. So I think Walter has tried to look at something proactive that this spouse can do in terms of clothing. We talked about maybe an incentive, although I don't believe an incentive is sustainable.
Yes.
Any other thoughts?
You see, everything falls back to communication. 65% of all divorces are as a result of lack or poor communication. So when a partner is not willing to bath, 4 or 5 days, I'm not even going to talk of the month that our viewer is talking about there. So here is how you can communicate the displeasure. First of all, you go to the partner and you address the situation. Instead of confronting the partner, take the I principle. I think that the situation we are having, the odor that is being emitted because you are not taking a shower, affects me. It brings me down, brings the mood down when it comes to the bedroom issues. And I also want you to look at the impact it might have on our children. We want to groom children who are clean. We want to groom children who are representative. Is this the kind of example you want to sell to our children, that this is the way we behave? We don't bath. We don't do this. Bring yourself into their position. Share how you feel about the situation and what it is affecting in the family. Point out, if you don't bath, you smell. If you don't bath, you're setting a bad example to the children who are going to associate with others. Imagine how you would feel being called to a class that your child is smelling. I think if we address such situations in that case, we are more likely to connect with the offending partner in an amicable and loving way.
I think you've mentioned something important here, going back to communication. And I think I liked one thing you said, maybe if I can just add a slight twist, is, you don't approach in a confrontational manner, but you approach it in a manner of how that behavior is impacting you. The odor, darling, and the smell, it's sort of, I want to be intimate with you, but this odor sort of, it's killing the mood, right? So no, I think some good things I'm picking up here. Now we have another question. I don't know if we fully answered this, but I think we've tried. We have another question. Dawn, I'll address this to you. So this is another viewer who said, should I divorce my husband because of hygiene issues? Then she goes on to list the things. Poor lady, bless her soul. She says, my husband brushes his teeth once a month, so we don't kiss. He has poop stains in all his underwear. He showers twice a week, and only if I bug him, I nag him. And he does a lot of gross stuff. So she's asking, is this a basis for divorce? I mean, some of these things she's mentioning are really, really gross. She needs an answer.
Okay, I don't think it's a call for divorce, it's a call for training. Some men or women need to be trained because we are coming from different environment. Some people are coming out of mud huts. They have never even seen a bathroom, really. Maybe river, so maybe it's a far place. So we'll have to understand where that person is coming from. One point in regards to what Leonard was saying, but for men, or they don't want to have a bath, you could even take the bath water to them, and you could take the bath water to them where you said, okay, honey, I think I want to give you a bath today. How about this and a nice massage? This is where I really wanted to go. And I would feel real happy if we could do this together.
Excellent.
So compliment. I really feel so happy doing this for you. And I really want you to do this to yourself. Because if you take care of yourself, it shows that you can take care of me also. Yeah. But when you neglect yourself, then I feel you're neglecting me because we are one. So you speak to them in that way of telling them, listen, this is how I feel that we should go. I understand where you're coming from, but this is, I think we'll be more united. We'll feel comfortable. The ambience would be better, you doing that. So divorce should not be the solution in that, because just like how you're getting your master's or your bachelor's or whatever, you improve, we can teach each other. Because there are some things, yes, the grooming, because maybe he's not good at grooming, but he's good at something else.
Correct.
So we can complement each other.
I really like what you've said here.
Yes.
Sometimes, and it's true.
Yes.
Sometimes your partner is doing this not because they want to, but maybe that's all they know.
Yes.
That's all they know. They have brought this baggage. This is all they have known all their life. And it's been normal to them because this is what was happening in their places. So thank you, Dawn, really for sort of highlighting this. So it's not, I think, to our viewer who brought in this question, maybe divorce is not the
option.
The answer here, because you may go and get married to someone else who may have the same thing. So you may have to divorce a lot of times. So I think you've brought the aspect of really understanding the aspect of women, and I really love the examples you gave. Let's go back together. I would really love this. So you're sort of, the way you're communicating it, to say it's as if this is for you.
I really feel good.
I would really love if we could have this like a
all
baby, right?
Yes.
So no, I think this is, I like the way you've sort of approached this. Solomon, you wanted to say something?
Yeah, I just wanted to really amplify that point, that it's not just, some children are disadvantaged in the sense, let's take an example of these refugee children camps all over. They don't have mother, they don't have father. It's survival mode. And for the most part, before you know what, the child is already grown and they lack some very basic things. And as two partners in love who are going to get married, we skip over a lot of things. And this is something that you may never know until it actually comes. So appreciating the background is very important. Perhaps that will make it more teachable, with the partner more teachable. And on the other hand, some of us grow in very luxurious, rich, affluent families where we're disconnected from our parents. There are lots of mates in between us. So the first love is lacking, and as a result, we miss the bonding and the basic primary health care things that are supposed to enhance and make us better. So because of that, we lack the confidence even to do things right. So that's one thing. But if you address the consequence or the likelihood of your health degenerating as a result of these things, most people will stop immediately. People will smoke or drink for as long as they don't know the issues with that. But once you tell them, hey, listen, there is a virus called rotavirus. There is this E. coli. It will kill you in 6 hours. It's not here now. But if we continue this way, one of us, either the children or what, this thing will come, and within no time, we can all pass away just because of this thing. So, that's what I'm trying to...
I think it's good. And, some of the things I can also think of is, inviting your partner, to awareness sessions, like Family Matters. We'll be discussing a lot of these things. Invite them, You're not the one televising Family Matters. We are doing that. Invite them to say, there's a special program about families. They'll come and they'll listen. And some of it is really awareness. And as you say, Solomon, understanding the consequences of you may catch this bad bacteria which can poison you, as a result of personal. Do you really want that? Walter, who's responsible for hygiene in the family, in the bedroom, for example? There is, I entered one house, I enter and they offer me a seat, and you know what I saw? Cockroaches moving, It's like, it's like a war zone. On the walls coming, and then the food is also being served. So who's responsible for hygiene in the family, and specifically in the bedroom? Like changing bed sheets. Whose responsibility is that?
Yeah, thank you so much. That's a very good question. And I think to address this, that we are all responsible in matters of cleanliness in the bedroom. But sometimes we really depend on our ladies to do this. But as men, we have a big part to play. For instance, the lady has made the bedroom very nice. Then we come with our shoes. They are smelly. So you create you change the environment. The pollution that comes within the bedroom is very bad. Or somebody comes from work, is wearing his clothes, and they throw them, the pant is there, the shirt is there. So there is no proper planning where these clothes should be put. So I think we are all responsible in maintaining the cleanliness in the bedroom.
We're both responsible. Leonard, I saw you nodding. I think you have something to say.
I'm going to take the side of the ladies here. The most guilty parties when it comes to irresponsible behavior in the bedroom and at home are men. It is actually, I don't know why us as men, maybe it's because of the way we grow up, When we are growing up, the ladies are always put into shape. Come home at this time, clean the plates, do the dishes, all of those things the ladies are doing. And as we are growing up, the boy goes out, comes out at 6, 7 p.m. Oh, it's boys, that's how they do it. And we carry that burden into marriages. So washing your own underwear should not be a responsibility of the wife. That is a personal space where husbands should actually be. I'm sure I'm going to get a lot of slack for this. Wash your own underwear. Because that's a personal space. You don't have your wife to be doing that for you. Your towel should know how to recycle it. It should be washed. Some towels don't even know what it means to. They are just used. Because you use it in the bathroom, you think it's not cleaned. I hope none of us are doing that. So even towels, you look at men's towels. They will tend, and we normally like dark towels for that reason, that we don't want to clean them. So it's the responsibility of everyone. And I want to emphasize that as men, we should get off our high heels and come and be humble. It is also our responsibility to make the bed. It is also our responsibility to ensure the bedroom has no clutter. It is also our responsibility even to clean the dishes. I know it's difficult. We are not tuned to that. But this is the real thing. Look, it now communicates that we are equal.
We're a team. We're one.
We are one team.
No,
and so hygiene is not just the physical hygiene, the mental, social, family hygiene.
Excellent.
It's
Excellent. There was, I know one of my friends, I will not mention his name. Okay. He likes, taking his wife's briefs and sniffing them. Okay. And for him, that's a good way for, a good segue for the intimacy later on. Now, on this particular day, there was some things that were not supposed to be there, stains and all that, and it brought a very big conflict. So I think I'm just going back to the point where you're saying, those personal things, we need to take accountability, whether it's the wife, whether it's the husband, and play a part. I think this, as what you said, has spoken strongly to me. Remember, we are a team. We're one team. And as Walter says, personal hygiene is teamwork. It's both the husband, the wife, and the children. Solomon.
Thank you, Peter. Actually,
I hope because you were, when I said this friend of mine was sniffing, you were smiling there. You're smiling. So,
no, I'm not that friend of
you're not the friend of
I'm not.
But you're free.
No, but The thing is, we're all we're not masters of information. We learn from each other, right? We're not at the same levels, of course, admittedly, because our backgrounds is not the same. But ultimately, we should converge to a point where we sort of have an understanding. For example, we migrate from this country to another country. I've not lived in an apartment before. All my life, I've lived in a house. As I said, pit latrines all over the place. Now I'm in a new environment. I have to learn to adapt. How to flush a toilet, cover the seat, flush it, don't leave it open.
Learning.
How to clean it, cleaning a towel. How many times should I clean my towel a week?
Yes.
3 times, 4 times. That means a man cannot have just 1 towel, too, because if this is damp, then I need to clean. How do I place a toothbrush? It should be upright. And all these basic skills that are intrinsically related to even to wash dishes. Washing dishes is not a trivial matter where you splash water. I mean, kids do that because they're learning. But when you leave it damp, you're inviting germs, and these things are not good. We have to take time. It's not a rush matter. We have to take time to enjoy the aspects of living in a hygienic place. Learning, ironing.
Wonderful.
How do I, ironing is a skill. Sometimes, when I go to a hotel, I envy this hotel. How do they do it? Everything is so clean. I want my house to be like that. I want my sheets to be and I want it every day. But I have to put in effort.
Correct.
In a hotel, you're paying for that. But we should learn to be like that.
Guess what, guys? I've learned so much. I think we've done justice to some of these questions. There are more, but we will, because our time is up, so we'll write back to those viewers whose questions have not been addressed. We'll be sure to do that. But hey, guys, I've had a smashing time. I've really learned a lot. So personal hygiene, just to recap, is important. Personal hygiene can be a deal breaker in a marriage. It can kill that intimacy. So guys, let's just be aware. And sometimes you may not be aware of these things. Leonard was so right to say, hey, listen, if you're suffering with a spouse who lacks poor hygiene and you're afraid to sort of offend them by bringing this up, sometimes they may not even be aware that that's a big issue. So bringing that on the table in a non-confrontational way, being proactive. Walter gave examples of, preparing, whether it's your husband or your wife, preparing a set of clothes, trying to help the other partner see the importance. Really learned a lot, and I'm sure some of the things I've learned, I'll be applying to my own family. Hey, listen, I wish we'd continue, but all good things do come to an end. We'll see you in the next episode, but do remember, please, to like, to share, and to subscribe. This is Family Matters and your host, Pete Mwanza. Das Vidania.